back to West Texas, folks. Hopefully we have a more normal video today. Something I didn't cover in the last one is I made an update to seasons based on something that Virtual Farm was doing, where it changes the early, late spring, etc. into months. So currently it shows we are on October, which corresponds to the first day of mid-autumn. Now, I was hoping that our cotton would be ready today, but I don't believe it is. Nope, it needs a bit more time to grow. So we are going to do some field work today. We've got a field that we need to plough, a bunch of fields that we need to do some lime and fertilising on. But before we do that, it's new kit day, and it's time to get rid of some kit. And I think the Traction King is probably going to be going today. So in fact we will unhook that from the forage trailer. I haven't fed the cows yet. I'm probably going to do that later on and get stuck into some field work first, but let's get rid of the things that are going and then we'll buy the new toys. So the Traction King is going just because I didn't enjoy using it. So yeah, Traction King gone. So the Clostorian is the wheel loader that's up at the store, which we're not really visiting anymore. So I may remove that because we don't really need it now. But our wheel loader is going, and the skid steer is going. The Lizard Beast is going. And all of the attachments that we had for the skid steer and the wheel loader need to be sold as well. That's the one up at the store. It's actually a really nice bale loader. So we've got the front loader bale forks as well, which we're going to sell because I don't think we're going to go back to using the front loader. So we're also going to sell that. It's the one we took off of the fence. That can go. We're not really using this silage fork, so that can go. The high dump bucket can go, and the pallet forks can go, and the big back handler can go, and the bucket. I have a feeling that one of these sets of pallet forks that I'm selling is actually up at the store, but oh well, it's not a huge amount of money. I'm just kind of clearing stuff out. We're going to think that's everything. Yep. And now we're going to get shopping. So a couple $100,000 from selling that. I haven't changed it to dollars. So we need something to replace the wheel loader and skid steer that we just sold, and we're going to get ourselves a telehandler. And we're going to get the JCB telehandler, and these are moderately unusual in the US, I think, but I have seen on a couple of YouTube videos that I've watched that they are in fact used. They're quite unusual. We'll go for the Michelin, so that's $98,000. We're going to buy that. We need to get a bale fork and we need a bucket. We don't need pallet forks at the moment. So we're going to get this big bale grab thing. What's the difference? I'm not sure, but we'll go for standard. So this was released on the Mod Hub a little while ago. And then we're going to get ourselves a bucket. Which one do we want? Probably not a CSZ one. We're actually going to get the JCB one. There's a 5,000 litre JCB bucket. Given that we've got the JCB telehandler. So that's our first bits of kit brought. So we'll jump in here. It's a little bit loud for me. I have to rebalance the audio in the edit, and we'll get this moved out of the way. So I've not used this before, so I'm not sure how it works. We can fold there, up, down, yeah. There we go. So that's quite cool. So we'll be giving that a go to deal with the bales that we're going to be putting into the feed mixer. So finally today I am going to get my AFS Connect that I've been going on about, and we're going to use it to do some field work. I should have probably moved the store delivery point over to here for these first few purchases. So as I said, I still need to sort the cows out completely. We had another big payday from the BGA overnight. Just to show you that. So another $310,000 from the BGA. Something that I have not been probably aware of so much is that obviously we started this game with a $15,000 loan from our investors. So although it seems like we're making a lot of money, we actually are not, because we have a huge debt. That's a magical interest-free loan. They are looking for a long-term return on their investment from the farm. So we'll get the bucket picked up, and we'll probably just bung this in one of the sheds then. So what else do we need to buy? We're going to buy a pickup. So I sold the lizard beast off because I wasn't really using it, and the job that I was using it for, to run the fuel tender around, it was too small. The fuel trailer was kind of bossing it, so we need something bigger for that job. We can just park this in here. So what we are looking at pickup wise is the new TLX. So the 3500. Not sure what the options are on here because I've not really looked at it yet. So we'll just have a look through. No, we don't really want it jacked up. But we're going to go for all-terrain. We'll do the Sport Twins. What's the special edition? Oh, that's quite nice. Yeah, we'll go with that. Headlights. We don't want coloured headlights. Although I'm from Essex, we are not playing in Essex. We'll leave that as standard. We want the big engine. I think we'll go with that. Obviously, we're going to have it in red. We're going to go for a nice case red. Yeah, I like that. So let's buy that for $37,000. And we need a bed. So what kind of bed do we want? We could go for a flat bed. Actually, that might be quite... No, that's for the Phoenix. So what do we want? I'm not actually sure which of those is for the pickup truck. There we go. I think for now we'll just go for a pickup bed. So we'll switch that over to case. Options. Yeah, I quite like that. Or an LED bar. We'll go for that. We'll go for the metalized because that's the standard, the edition that we've got. Everything else standard, I think. Yep. So we'll buy that for $12,000, and that leaves us with 812 because it's just ticked over on the earnings from the solar panels. That sounds quite nice, doesn't it? We'll probably look at getting some trailers that can take advantage of that as well. But for now, we're just going to park this up in the shed. And then it's time finally to buy the tractor I've been going on about through this whole series. And then we'll go on to going on about doing the tractor. So it's likely, actually, I guess what we'll do is on the tractor, we'll probably start using the old Magnum for feeding, unless we need it for field work, because we're going to get ourselves the AFS Connect Magnum by Carl Farms. I think we're going to go for Michelin's. The wides look the same width as the standards. There are so many tyre options for this thing. Mitas, Trelleborg. Let's have a look at Trelleborgs. Yeah, I quite like those. They're quite chunky. When we're doing some things, we might want to stick jewels on. We don't need beacons. We will have fenders front and rear. We want all the extra lights. We are going to have a weight on the front, and we are going to have the Magnum 400, so 450 horsepower, and that's a rather meaty $387,000. Thank you very much. All right, so we have $421,000 left. Next job. The grassland area that we own that we no longer need, we are going to sell. And does that mean, so we are now at $1,073,000, which means we can afford to buy field 3, which we are going to do. And there's field 3, so field 3 is cultivated and needs ploughing. So we have 2 fields that need ploughing. We're going to need to scan field 3 as well, and it's no doubt going to need some lime and fertilizer. So probably the first job is to get the field scanner going on our new field, and it means we can take a look at it. Okay. Do I still have it as an option to tab? Yes, we do. So we're going to use the little fent for this. So this poor little guy has mostly been doing clearing poo, using the conveyor belt that I have on the back. It's one of the auto load conveyor belts, so it means I can park it next to the pile of cow poo and load up the trailer. You've probably seen me do a few clips of that. Mucking out the cows, as I think I've said, is quite a time consuming job. Yes, it pays a lot, but yes, it takes me quite a long time, and I generally do it off camera because it takes a long time. So I don't think it's unrealistic that we get paid a fair bit for it. And it's certainly opening up options for expanding the farm. And someone's just parked the telehandler in the way of the crop scanner. I don't actually have the... I do still have the front 3-point on here. Cool. So, let's jump in here and get that field scanning. And then we're going to have a look at our new tractor. It's been a busy week. So it's school holidays here, which doesn't usually make a massive difference for me because we've got a teenager who doesn't really care about spending huge amounts of time with us. But it just means the house is a bit busier this week. Been in work and working a fair bit as well, which has meant it's been hard to get videos produced. So this, it always seems to be the case that no, this is not Friday's video actually. This is going to be Sunday's video. So I'm a little bit ahead. I'm not sure where the entrance is to this field, but we're going to go with here until we see otherwise. So this field doesn't have a pivot on it. So I wonder, do we want to expand it before we scan it? Or do we mow these grass areas? Do you know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. What's it had in it previously? So it's had a couple of root crops by the looks of it. So we will be planting corn in here, I think. Because, no, we were triticale, yes, so we'll be planting corn in here. So we'll probably plant a winter crop of grass as well. So if we just check in the crop rotation, so here we had, they did double potatoes. So we are going to go probably, because generally grass is pretty good at helping recover a field. We do grass and corn, that's not too bad, and then we would be going corn to cotton. Yeah, that will work. Obviously we won't be doing the potatoes, so yeah, we're going to need to plant this with grass. So it probably doesn't matter if we expand it yet, apart from the fact that we're going to be having to come over and plough anyway. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I'm actually going to leave that for a minute. We'll switch this guy off, and we are going to jump in our brand new Carl Farms FS Connect Magnum 400. So this is one of the tractors that was kind of a goal for the series. I'm guessing we need to fold down the steering wheel. We do. And then we'll fire up. Very nice. It's quite quiet inside as well. But a decent sound outside. Yeah. So the next goal is to replace this guy. Well, actually not replace, we'll probably buy another, we'll buy it and keep this one, because this guy's worked hard for us, is to get the new Steiger quad track. As we get more big tractors on the farm, we're buying more field working equipment as well, and hopefully we can expand into getting a bunch of contracting done. So, plough's hooked up. I'm going to take this over to the cornfield that needs ploughing. We'll have a look at its field state, see whether it needs lime. It's definitely going to need nitrogen. So probably what we'll do is have a look at the state of the field when we get over there, decide whether we're going to plough first or whether we're going to do some lime first, and I will also look at doing some digestate. Hopefully this guy, being pretty big, won't have the problem we had with the old Magnum, that the digestate spreader was bossing around the tractor. Obviously both of these fields need fertilising again. Let's just jump out and have a quick look to see what their lime state is. So that one could maybe do with a little bit of lime. That one's okay. So with precision farming you lose 0.25 off of the lime each time you harvest, and the ideal value is obviously based on the soil type, but the amount you lose each time is not. So again, this one is fine for lime. What are we going to be planting in here? So this was corn, so this is going to cotton. If we look in precision farming on our cotton field that we have, we're looking at about 80 to 100 kilograms of nitrogen. So it actually doesn't need nitrogen either, so we can just get this ploughed. Awesome. So let's put our new tractor to work. And what I'm going to do is run a... do I want to run headlands first? I shouldn't really, should I? Because I'm ploughing. I should do my up-down rows. So we're going to do our down rows first. Let's get the GPS set so it's on 45, so that's okay, because I want to run at 90 degrees. Drop the plough down and we'll get going. Yeah, so one of the nice things, I guess, and as I say, it's going to be cotton. We'll see how the cotton pays. I may change the rotation for next year. I may not do cotton. Obviously it doesn't contribute towards feeding the cattle, so we can't do corn on corn, but maybe we could do a straw crop in here. If I decide the cotton's not paying well enough, we will see when we harvest it next time, and then when we eventually get around to selling it, how much we're going to make. But this is handling the plough really nicely, and whilst we're ploughing, I'm going to ponder whether I want to extend that field 3 or not before we do anything with it. So what that means is field 4 is going to stay as grass. So 4 and 14 will be our 2 grass fields, which we will mow for hay. then I have those other areas that I was thinking about ploughing in, but I don't think I'm going to bother now, given that we've got 2 big grass fields. We are pretty good from a grass point of view. This field is going to be cotton or triticale or wheat or something like that. Maybe we could do sorghum as a cash crop. And then the cotton field is going to go to triticale. So as soon as we've got that harvested, we will need to turn that field around and get it planted. The planting window for triticale runs through late summer into the winter time, so we've got plenty of time to get that planted. So yeah, this is a really nice bit of kit, I think. As I said, it was one of the goals of this series to get into some of this big new case equipment. Obviously we started with some fairly old tractors. We've also brought our new field that we wanted, which is awesome. There is a very good chance that if we keep making money from the manure like we are, obviously last episode in the time lapse I expanded the cows even more, so we're up to 6 pens now, that we can look at buying even more land in the future, and we'll probably go for field 5 and keep the farm clustered in this kind of area for now. We'll get to see the rest of the map through contracts. There are a lot of other farms on this map, but you know, we can only really concentrate on doing one at this scale. So I've yet to feed the cows today, and feeding, cleaning and watering the cows takes me quite a while, and I'm going to do it after I've recorded this video, just because I had the opportunity with, as I've said in the last 3 voiceovers that I've recorded in this bit of time that I've got to myself to make videos. The house is quiet, so I will feed the cows separately. So I think now is probably a good time to get into a montage, and I will find some music to stick on, and we'll get this field ploughed.
Stumbling out of bed, and I still got you in my head from all those pretty words you said. It's like I'm wasted. Every time I see your face, I'm losing track of time and space. I don't know where I am. It's like I'm wasted, and I won't waste it.
So we are trucking along with getting this field ploughed in, and Giants have just dropped the video for FS19 animals, and that looks cool. There's not really a lot of information in there yet, just some more video footage of the animals, and I guess the big news in there is that we are getting bees as base game next time. I wonder how that will compare to the hive honey production mod that I did a tutorial on about a year ago, which is my most popular video. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see. Looks like the graphics for the animals are much better. The pallets of eggs are pallets of eggs, which is quite cool. Not that I do much with chickens, but yeah, not a lot of information about how things have changed, but mostly graphical stuff that looks quite cool. Yeah, so I just thought I've just literally watched Daggerwin's video on it, and then the Giants video, which may be the wrong way around, but it's what popped up as a notification on my phone. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how that actually works, and what it means for the farming agency guys once we get a bit more information, because obviously, although I'm not using it on this map, most of the stuff I do is with Maize Plus, and in FS22 that will be moving to Terra Life, and the which, yeah, so I will crack on and stick some music back on, get this field finished, and we'll move on to the next job, which I think I might spread some slurry on, or some digestate on the 2 grass fields before we go over and plough field 3 that we have just brought. What I will check is the grass planting window, so we need to get that planted today, ideally, if not tomorrow. Hopefully we'll be harvesting cotton tomorrow, so but we could maybe get a worker to plant the grass field for us. But yeah, back to the music.
I can't get you out of my mind. I will follow you wherever, and I won't waste this. I'll follow you, yeah. I'll follow you, yeah. Could you come a little closer now? 'Cause
So pretty much finished on the up down rows now. Really liking this tractor, really nice. So we've just got a couple of headlands to do on here. I haven't done a perfect job. There are a couple of bits that I've missed in the field, just getting the plough turned around, but it's not going to be a problem. We'll leave them as they are. So once we've got this done and the two headlands done, we will be dropping the plough off the back of here and hooking this up to the slurry spreader. So I think I have decided that I am going to open up the new land that we've brought and turn all of that into a field. It seems like a bit of a waste to not do that. I know the semicircular and circular fields are kind of a feature of this map, but to me it feels slightly like wasted land. We have more than enough grassland now. So yeah, we're going to plough up that. Get plough over there later on and open that up, and I will probably what I think I'll do on that is get it opened up with the plough, so create the new bit of field, and then we will run that on course plate. Just trying to get GPS set up here. Obviously being a super new tractor, we have GPS included. So it looks like it's going to be 2 or 3 rows across the headland. But yeah, so we'll, what I'm going to do is open up that field and then redefine the field with course plate and get course plate running on ploughing that. I'm probably not going to do that this video, to be honest, or I might do it off camera. Suspect by the time we've got this field ploughed and I have done the digestate spreading on the grass field, that we'll have quite a lot of video saved up to edit down. Interested to know what people thought of the previous time-lapsed video with commentary. Doing those might make it easier for me to get 2 videos a week out on here, which means we can progress a little bit faster. And we're getting closer to having calves and getting milk as well, which is obviously the goal of this series, being a dairy farm. At the moment we are a pretty bad dairy farm. Really tempted just to leave that tiny row. And I think it's worth running the tractor back along that for the amount of crop we're going to get off of there. Nah, don't think so. Give us a little bit more room headland wise as well next to the fence, because if you remember when we were trying to run the forage harvester around here, the fence caused us some problems. So yeah, we'll leave that as a bit more of a headland. So I think I'm just gonna get this last headland at the other end done, and I will be back with you when we are ready to spread some digestate. That's ploughing pretty much done. I did this one the other way around and set the plough up so it ran along the edge of the field first, because I hadn't left quite so much of a headland here. Maybe unrealistic I guess. Maybe not, because it's a disc kind of plough. Maybe not so much. With a real moldboard plough, you'd probably say that was unrealistic. But that's this field ploughed and ready for planting when we decide what we're going to put in there. If it's cotton, that won't be until springtime. If we go for some sort of straw-based crop, we'll maybe try and get that in before winter. So now we're going to run over to the BGA and pick up our digestate tanker and hammer a bunch of digestate across the two grass fields. What I'll probably do is run them as one field because they link together quite nicely, and we might just end up with a bit of poo over the path. But given we're the only ones that drive along this road, because it's pretty much all our land, I don't see a problem with that. And I'm actually going to... Wow, didn't expect that. I'm actually going to drop the plough off at the BGA just for now, just to save a bit of time. So one of the things that does frustrate me about this map is there are pockets of land within our farm that we don't own. So something that I picked up on the last video where I was trying to row up the hay that we'd cut, and some of it I couldn't pick up. And so for example, the piece of land just over there where the hole is a small piece of unviable land. I left it full. Yay me. So I'm not sure. Probably going to use quite a high application rate on here, because last time we used this we didn't actually use that much digestate, which was quite nice. Obviously this is really heavy, so we're going to be going quite slowly. Now yes, one of the things that frustrates me, so for example we can't buy the lagoon where our slurry is processed. Yeah, it's a minor detail. I'm still debating on whether I want to move to the updated version of the map on here. I'm probably only going to do 2 years on here, I think, and so it's whether I can go through the pain of doing the move, given that it's just a few textures that aren't quite right. That certainly they're affecting me anyway. Whoa. Yeah, this thing is so heavy. This will definitely be one for the quad track, I think, in the future. Let's open that up. Get onto the field, get the map up. So yeah, we can bump this way up, I think. We're going to go for 100 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare. I want to be at an end of the field, really. Set the width on the GPS. We'll start from over here. Yeah, we didn't use that much digestate last time. We must have loads in the BGA. Well, a bit of a power slide there. As I said, this is a really heavy piece of kit. And so we'll try and use digestate to get us most of the way up on the fertilisation that we need. We need to be getting up close to... Oh, we can maybe go even more actually. So we need to be getting up close to 200 kilograms per hectare. So the more we can do with organic fertiliser, the less we are going to have to use either solid or liquid fertiliser. Obviously, with precision farming and things like digestate, you can't auto apply to get a perfect rate, but we can apply a nice heavy coat of digestate on here, and that will get us most of the way to where we need to be. What are we doing on this field? Yeah, so we're getting close to our 200 kilograms of nitrogen that we need. So that will God, I'm getting old again. So we need to do... We can get away with not doing lime on here for the next harvest as well. So what we'll do is we're not going to be cutting this again until springtime. So once we've done first cut next year, we'll get lime on both of these. It's not going to significantly affect the yield we get. So this tractor is running this quite nicely. We'll see how we do when we get to the turn. It's certainly easier than using the old Steiger. That guy is it's a nice old tractor, but it's a bit of a pain to manoeuvre. It's a bit like the Traction King was, to be honest. Just didn't turn nicely. Yeah. What we might do actually for field 3 as well is break out the anhydrous bar, because we've not used that in a while. So once we've got it ploughed, we will maybe run the anhydrous over that, depending on how much nitrogen it needs adding to it. Just because we haven't used it in ages. Maybe used it on it here before we planted the grass, I'm not sure. So where do we go next on here? Obviously we've got the cotton harvest. We then need to get all of our fields replanted or prepped for planting in the spring. I'm at the 6 pens of cows that I was hoping to get on here. You know, that's almost 700 cows before we start having calves. Once we start having calves, that's going to increase a lot. The plan is to keep any heifer calves that we get to grow on for milk. They may not get to the point where they're producing milk with how long we will play on here. That kind of depends how the series is going in terms of views and how mods are developing for FS22. Any male calves that we get will be going to the meat factory, or will just be grown on a bit for selling for beef later on. So what we might do is separate off the male calves into one of the spare pens that we've got to feed up to sell for beef. But yeah, the meat processing plant does give us a nice boost in how much we can make from those if we sell them when they're born. Just because it's not set up for season, so that's slightly gaming the meat processing plant. But it does add in another level of effort because we have to take the cows to the meat processing plant, and it doesn't produce meat in huge volumes. So we may find that we have too many beef cattle to actually effectively process through that, and we end up growing some on to sell traditionally anyway. Kit wise, where do we want to go next? The quad track. The quad track is the next goal. I'm not looking at buying a cotton harvester. I'm going to lease that because we only have one field, so we left a hay bale down here. To grab that at some point. Yeah, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do more than one lot of cotton on here. We may look at doing sorghum, because I haven't done that on any map before, so we may do that as our cash crop next year. So yeah, the quad track, and then probably looking at more implements so that we can just speed up how we do things. For example, a second slurry spreader would probably be useful, because this is going to take a while to get everything spread. I'm happy with the Patriot and Titan that we've got for doing lime and solid fur and liquid fur and herbicide, but I think another seeder would be nice. We might have to go a different brand, so we might go for the big John Deere seeding setup and run it on the back of the Steiger. There are a couple of Fendt that I'm interested in as well, which I may get to replace the Massey and the little Fendt. There are some Fendt ones that have come available, which would, they'll be a play overkill for doing yard work, but hey. And after that, we need to think about repaying some of this big loan that we've got. If we're making 300,000 a day, then maybe we could look at paying off a couple of million on that maybe every half year, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, we're nearly through this first load, so I think we will jump into either a montage or a time lapse and get this job done.
your name, I'm wasted on you. Here we are, right underneath the stars. So let's get a little reckless. You make me breathless, and I won't waste this. And I promise that I will stand by you forever. I can't get you out of my mind. I will follow you wherever, and I won't waste this.
We are on to our last row, and we have not very much left in the spreader. But we're only on our third tank of digestate, and we have obviously applied a pretty heavy load of nitrogen to this field, so that's really good. We will just nip back over to the BGA and refill the tank, I think, just to get this last little strip, just because otherwise it will bug me on the map. We're then going to call it a day for this video, because I think yet again I have recorded a mountain of footage. We've got a couple of good jobs done today, getting the old cornfield, field 6, ploughed, and getting the two grass fields spread with digestate. So next time we will probably be moving on to the cotton. I will get the cows fed off camera, and I may or may not get the new field 3 prepped off camera as well. I might actually leave that. We'll see what crop we are going to put in. I think we were looking at putting triticale in there, which yeah, we need to plant next game day. So given that it is very much going to be a repeat of what I've done today with ploughing and spreading, probably will spread some digestate on there actually. I might get that done off camera so that we can progress to harvesting the cotton next video, and then we will need to seed that triticale as well. If we do triticale again as our straw crop, we might use wheat or barley or oats. Yeah, I'll have to have a think about that. I think they're pretty much the same seasons wise in terms of yield, so or yield bonus from crop rotation. But yeah, I think next year we will do sorghum in the in place of cotton, just to try that crop out. Obviously it's coming to 22 might be out before we get to harvesting it on here, but you know, it's something different that we can try. That doesn't get planted until the springtime, so we are not in a rush. We don't need to do anything more to field 6 that we got ploughed today. Yeah, no, whether it's different on this map, but digestate just seems to go really far. See, with precision farming you can't do funny things like variable spray rate and turn it right down. In fact, I've got it turned up really high. And I know this is a big spreader. It's got nearly 36,000 litres or 9,500 gallons of digestate in it, but yeah, it just doesn't seem to use much. It's cool, I like it. We've still got a lot of digestate in the BGA, so yeah, we can use that to fertilise our fields before we plant the next crops, which will save us a bit of money on solid fertiliser, which is cool. And we should have to do in fact, we'll jump out and have a look. I would have to be standing, yeah, so we're very close to perfect nitrogen. So a very light coat of solid fertiliser will be just right, and it's a good job that we only need to use a light coat, because certainly in the UK there is a massive shortage of fertiliser. So I'm not sure what it's like in the US, but farmers in the UK are using a lot less artificial fertiliser because of the whole gas price thing. But just need to run along to the end of this row, and that is a good day's work on the farm. So we've got nice good nitrogen levels on here, and field 6 is ploughed. So I need to tackle field 3 as I've just said, and get the cotton harvested. And we can then probably start to speed through. I've switched GPS off. We can probably start to speed up time a little bit to get the cows into producing milk, which will be good. We'll need to buy a trailer or some sort of truck to sell the milk. We might look at getting a truck because it's quite tricky to get into the milk parlour, I think. So maybe a TLX Phoenix with a tank on the back, because that would also be useful for moving animals about if we got the animal bed. It's definitely something I need to look at. But that is all done. The Magnum, new Magnum has been awesome. Really nice tractor. The slurry spreader has bossed it around a bit still, but that's just because it's so big and heavy. I'm not even sure a quad track would not have issues with manoeuvring with this thing when it's fully loaded. We'll run it back to the BGA and call it a day. So yeah, if you're watching this and you've made it this far, let me know what you think about Field 3, whether you'd like to see me work on that. I'm going to need to repair that gate. I could maybe do that as a time lapse before we get to do the cotton harvesting. So yeah, let me know what you think about that in the comments. So this video will be coming out on Sunday. I'm unlikely to get around to doing that before then. So yeah, let me know if you'd like to see me sort Field 3 out in a time-lapse video. I can do that. But I really want to progress in the next main video to getting the cotton harvested. We'll just pull up here, get this refilled, because it was quite nice that when I pulled up last time it was full. Yes, we've still got probably 75,000 gallons of digestate in the slurry store. Digestate store. It's digestate, isn't it? Anyway, thanks for watching, folks. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will catch you next time.